This is Grumpy SEO Guy, episode 80, a review of episodes 61 through 79. You're listening to Grumpy SEO Guy, the SEO podcast that doesn't waste your time with nonsense that doesn't work. I'm the Grumpy SEO Guy, and I'm sharing with you the strategies that have helped me successfully run my SEO agency for the last 14 years. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my knowledge and experience, discussing tips and strategies, and trying to help you cut through the confusion that permeates this industry. If you listen to this podcast, you will know more about SEO than 99% of people on the planet. Ready? Let's get started. I'm the Grumpy SEO Guy. Let me tell you why I'm grumpy today. Actually, I'm not even grumpy today because it's episode 80. Okay, so what happens on episode 80? It means we do a review of the last 19 episodes. But before we do that, my lawyer tells me that I have to say this right now. A quick disclaimer before we get started. Everything I say here is based on my experience and opinion from 14 years in the industry. I don't officially know how Google or any other search engines work. Everything I say here is hypothetical and based on my experience. This podcast does not constitute advice or services. What worked for me may or may not work for you. Okay, back to the show. Okay, there's a lot to get through. Let's get started. So the purpose of this episode is to summarize the last 19 episodes. And then if you hear anything that sounds cool, go listen to that episode. Not everybody has listened to every episode, and maybe they don't have time to listen to all of them. So we're going to summarize them. And here we go. Okay, episode 61 is called SEO for Total Beginners. Okay, this is a good place to start. This episode explains what SEO is, what SEO is not, and how to think about SEO. Here's an example that I gave in that episode. I said, how do you get a fast race car? What do you need to get a fast race car? Okay, what do you need? Well, you need a lot of things, but one of them is you need a powerful engine. Okay, now there's a lot of other things that race cars may or may not have. Okay, like cool paint jobs. Now, let's be honest, a lot of race cars have cool paint jobs, okay? But those do not make a car fast. So if you want a fast car, you have to get a good engine, okay? What a lot of people consider to be SEO is analogous to the paint job on a race car. Yes, lots of race cars have cool paint jobs, but that is not why they're fast. Lots of websites do all sorts of cool things, but that is not why they rank. Okay, so the example or the comparison was, you can think of authority as being like a race car's engine. Yes, you may or may not need all of these other things to rank well, but you do need authority in order to rank. Just to explain it, but there's a whole other episode on this. Authority comes only from backlinks. If you're new to authority, you can go back even further and listen to episode 21, but regardless, that's what that episode is about. Okay, episode 62. What is and how to do rank and rent, and a rant on affiliate marketing and bad online business advice. Okay, a lot of people did not like this episode. They said that I explained rank and rent wrong and all these things. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Like, it doesn't even bother me if people disagree with what I think rank and rent is. I'll just explain it again here, and people are going to tell me that I'm wrong again. That's fine. Rank and rent is when you rank a website, so you get to the top of the search engines, and then you sell places on that website to local businesses or whatever. I tried it in 5 different industries. I had 0 success with it. Everybody told me that I did it wrong. But I stand by my claim that the only people that I hear say that they have good outcomes with rank and rent are people that are trying to get you to purchase their rank and rent program. I've been in the industry for over a decade. I do not know anybody who has actually made money with rank and rent. Lots of people online claim that they made money with rank and rent, but like literally people say anything. So who cares? Anyway, again, I don't know. Maybe don't listen to that episode if you think that I did a bad job explaining it, or maybe listen to it. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, episode 63. 2 pieces of controversial SEO advice. I'm going to tell you one of them. You have to listen to the episode to learn the other one. Okay, one of my controversial pieces of SEO advice was this. There is a saying in English, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. Now, I think I may have given a little lecture on why the grammar in that sentence is terrible, but still, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What does that mean? It means if you're already at the top of the search engines, Do not make changes to your website. I have heard from many people that say, oh, we were at the top of the search engines and then we like rewrote our content or we did this or we did this other thing and now we're not at the top of the search engines anymore. Don't mess with something if it's working, okay? Like if you're ranking, okay, look, here, let's take a step back. I don't know if this always happens and I don't know why it happens, but it seems to me that when people make changes on page to their website, they usually start bouncing in the SERPs. Okay. SERPs means what position are you in? SERP, search engine result pages. Okay. So I think in that episode, I said something like, if you're in position 5 or better, do not make any changes to your content unless you must for like technical reasons. So what I mean is if you say something that is erroneous on the website, okay? If you say something mistaken, yes, go change that. If you say that your blue widgets are yellow and they're actually purple, you should change that because it's not right, okay? But do not go rewriting your content because somebody told you that, oh, you're position 5 and if you rewrite your content, you'll be in position 1. No, you won't because you'll probably lose your rank for a while and you may or may not recover. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Episode 64, how to use 301 redirects for SEO. I made this episode because I get this question all the time. How do I use 301 redirects? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, look, I'm going to give you 2 pieces of quick information here, and then you can go listen to the episode if you want more. You use 301 redirects because when you buy an expired domain, you want to 301 all of the pages that used to be on that site to the homepage or to the equivalent of whatever they are now if you're recreating the pages, but don't steal people's content if you're recreating a site, okay? In other words, what I mean is if you buy an expired domain, do not build a copy of the older site. That is a bad idea. From a purely lawful perspective, that is a bad idea. I'm not even talking about the SEO results of doing so. But anyway, maybe the domain had like 1,000 pages on it, right? You just want to 301 all of those back to the homepage to keep the authority and then build out whatever pages you want. There are plugins that will do this in WordPress. There are many, many plugins. You should find a plugin that will do it automatically as opposed to a plugin that makes you type in every single URL individually because you don't want to do it that way. Okay, look. And then the other thing that I talk about in that episode is whether or not you should buy authoritative domains simply to redirect them to your target domain. You shouldn't. That's a bad idea because what is the number one rule in search engine optimization? Would this ever naturally happen? Do you think a bunch of domains would ever just redirect themselves to some other domain for no reason? Of course not. So maybe it might not work. Okay. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm saying you might get caught doing it because it's unnatural. Okay. Good. Go listen to that episode. Okay. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Episode 65. How much DR do you need to rank? People ask this question all the time. How much DR do I need to rank? Let me break it down for you very quickly here. DR, just like all the other things, okay, like AS and DA and PA and UR and TF and CL and all the other ones, it is an estimate. Okay, it is an estimate. People love to tell me that I'm wrong because I said that higher DA or whatever metric you're using always outranks lower DA. I literally have never said that, and I explain it again on this episode. Those are all estimates of the original measure of authority, which was PR. PR was a Google metric of authority. It stood for PageRank. It was a real metric of authority. It used to be public. You could find the PR PageRank for every website and every web page in the world. But then what do you think happened? People started selling links based on PR. Google said, and I'm just guessing, I don't know if this is officially what Google did. And then Google probably said something like, oh, well, people are taking advantage of this. We can't provide it anymore. They obviously still use something like that. They just don't publicize it anymore. So when Google stopped publishing PR, other companies created their own. Okay, everybody has their own. Ahrefs has DR, domain rating, okay? Moz has PA, page authority, and DA, domain authority. SEMrush has one, Majestic has one, everybody has one. They're all estimates. They're not what you think they are. Let me say this once. If you listen to anything that I say in this entire episode, let it be this next sentence. The purpose of SEO is to get to the top of the results. It is not to get the highest DR possible, okay? It is possible to get to the top of the search engines with small or no increases in your DR. It is also possible to increase your DR and have no increase in position. I'm going to say it again because people are not going to understand it. The purpose of SEO is to get to the top of the results, not to get as much DR as possible. Those are different things. They are different. Next episode 66. How many sites do you need in your PBN, private blog network? I get this question all the time too. Grumpy SEO guy, what number of websites do I need in my PBN? I don't know, dude, as many or as few as you want. With how the SEO industry works, a lot of people ask questions that seem like they make sense, but don't actually make sense. For example, how much DR do I need? Which was what we just talked about. Because people have quantified things so much and they sell things based on metrics. Okay? Well, this DR is more. It must be rank higher. No, that's not how SEO works. I believe I have explained that proficiently in these episodes. Okay? Anyway, look. So people always ask, how many sites do I need in my PBN? Which is basically a similar question to how many backlinks do I need? You need more than you have now, okay? Like that's the answer. The answer to this question is based on so many things, including what your competition is doing. If you have very easy competition, you probably don't need very many. If you have very hard competition, you need a lot more, but they also need to be better because remember, number of backlinks does not matter, but quality of backlinks does matter. 100 bad links is worse than one good link. But people are still going to be like, well, Grumpy SEO guy says it's all about the number of backlinks, even though I literally have never said that ever on any episode or on any forum post ever. But, content writers are just going to troll me all day long anyway, so whatever. Okay, look. Actually, not kidding, but that's a different topic. Okay. So look, how many, I think I said in that episode that this is for normal websites, by the way, like normal, not super crazy competition, normal. I said if you build a PBN with 30 to 50, I think that's what I said, 30 to 50 sites, you will probably have wonderful results, okay? Because most websites are lacking 30 to 50 good quality backlinks, okay? And if you provide that for your website, the results will probably please you. But I don't know because every situation is different. And I literally just got an email yesterday from somebody who said, well, you said 30 to 50, but we've got, I forgot what they said, like 30,000, I think they said, by the way, I'm totally keeping this anonymous. I think they said 30,000 backlinks from 6,000 domains or something like that. And I'm like, well, based on those numbers and nothing else, you have more backlinks and more referring domains than most people. You are probably in a more difficult industry. Maybe 30 to 50 won't be enough, but it might be because I haven't looked at those backlinks and they might be terrible. So who knows? In my experience, you usually start getting decent results with 30 to 50. Okay? Decent quality backlinks. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying and say, Grumpy SEO guy says I need 30 backlinks and then go buy 30 forum profile backlinks because that's just going to be a waste of your time and money, okay? Okay, next episode. Episode 67. Secret sauce is super scammy nonsense. I think I can cover this one very briefly. There's a lot of SEO agencies and consultants who talk about secret sauce and they talk about what they're going to do for you. And they're like, well, we're going to use our secret sauce. Every single one of them is lying, is scamming you, and you do not want to work with them. Next episode, episode 68, why you shouldn't focus on number of backlinks. Number of backlinks is not a thing. Whatever your DR is not a thing. And stop quantifying things in manners that they should not be quantified, okay? It's like asking how many stickers do I need to win the race? Like none. You need a good engine. Number of backlinks doesn't matter. If I could give you one backlink that would be 1,000,000 times better than all of the blog comment garbage you bought for $10, okay? Number of backlinks is not a thing, period. Like SEO is not powerlifting. No one cares what numbers are. All they care about is where you rank. Feel like I covered that one. Next episode. Episode 69, why SEO agencies sometimes lie about who their clients are. Oh my gosh, I see this constantly. Let me keep this one kind of quick. A number of SEO agencies and consultants will put on their website stuff like our clients include, and then they'll list like Apple and IBM and Microsoft and Google. And like, okay, first of all, bro, Google is not your SEO client. Really? No. Like, no. Okay. But anyways, so a couple comments about that. First of all, why are they doing that? Well, there's a very good chance that those big companies are not actually their clients, especially if it's some no-name SEO consultant, right? But they're listing that because they want to list companies that you've heard of. Because if you see this person and say, wow, Apple is their client, well, they must be good. I'm going to work with them. This is why they put it on the website, okay? But there's more. There's more to say about that. If Apple was even their client, which is unlikely, okay? It is unlikely that a big tech company that you have heard of actually hired this person, because that's not how SEO works in that area. But let's just assume it was. It doesn't mean they got good results. All it means is they have good salespeople, okay? You can have Apple as a client, do a bad job, and get fired, but Apple was still your client, so you could brag about that. So literally getting big clients does not mean anything, excluding the fact that they're probably lying about having them anyway. But here's the even bigger point that people still don't understand. No decent SEO agency would ever name their clients on their website because the clients do not let them. Okay, I stopped asking our clients a decade ago if I can list them on our website because every single client said no. Why did they say no? Is it because we didn't get good results? No, of course not. We got amazing results. It's because they don't want their competition to know who they're working with, because that creates weird issues. If you're working with a company and their competition comes to you and says, oh, work with us, we'll pay you more, that is an uncomfortable position to be in. No, we don't list our clients, because every single client has told us no because they're getting amazing results, and it's secret, it's private, okay, and it's discreet. And I think I said this like on episode 1, the real SEO industry is very, very private and very, very secretive, okay? Like, the more people brag publicly, probably the more they're lying, and that's likely true for every industry, but especially SEO. The more you say, oh yeah, Xerox and IBM and Facebook and Apple and Microsoft are all our clients. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. And even if they were, they probably would not let you put them on their website, but they're not. But anyway, the reason, I know I already said this, but the reason people did that, I'm turning this into a whole other episode. The reason people do that is because if they list a bunch of clients that you've never heard of, like, you're not going to care, right? Like, you could list, if you've been an SEO consultant for a while and you're good at your job, you probably have like 50 clients or something, right? Like after a couple of years, I don't know. Don't utilize those numbers as like scale of anything. I'm just saying, depending on the size of your projects, after a couple of years, you might have 50 clients or so, okay? But probably nobody's ever heard of them. In 15 years, we've had like 2 or maybe 3 household name clients, and those are only household name clients if you're very familiar with certain industries like supplements or martial arts. Probably regular people still haven't heard of those, so I wouldn't even be bragging by sharing them on our website, except for the fact that they all said no anyway. I hope this makes sense. If not, whatever. I don't know what to tell you. Go listen to that episode. Okay, next episode. Episode 70. Think twice about buying backlinks off of a menu. The subtitle for this episode was, There's a Reason PBNs are called private blog networks. Generally speaking, and I could go both ways on this argument, honestly, but there are services out there that will provide you a list of websites you can get backlinks from. I would recommend not working with those agencies, and I would also recommend not working with any agencies that will take you as a client just because you want to, okay? Because if they'll take you without a screening process, they will take anyone without a screening process, which means they could be linking to spammers, which means they're penalized, which means you're penalized. Probably don't do it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, next episode. Episode 71. SEO contradictions, clarification, and critical thinking. I made this episode because there are a lot of people in the SEO field who say things and then later say other things that contradict the first thing they said. But like, people don't seem to be aware of this. There's some examples if you listen to it, but I'm going to give you one example right now. Some people will say, bad backlinks can't hurt you. Backlinks can only help you or not have any effect at all, but they can't hurt you. Okay. By the way, that's mistaken, but let's just figure that it's not. Okay. So anyways, they say that. And then later somebody will say, oh man, I can't figure out why my website dropped. And the same person will say, well, maybe you got a spammy backlinks penalty. Okay. One moment here. If you just said backlinks cannot hurt you, why would you say maybe you got a spammy backlink penalty? Those things cannot be true together. Okay. So anyway, like that, you understand what I'm saying? It's like they just say things and then they like just randomly say something else. And it's not even like logically connected to the first thing they say. They just say things. And look, whatever, it doesn't matter. So that's we're going to go on to the next one now. Okay. Next episode 72, how to build your own PBN part 4, answers to questions from Reddit. I have a lot of episodes on how to build a PBN, a private blog network or private blog portfolio, the correct way, specifically episodes 3, 4, and 5. There were a lot of questions that people had they were asking me on Reddit, so I made another episode that shared answers to some of their questions. If you want to build a PBN, listen to those episodes. Okay, next episode 73, my experience going on 6 SEO job interviews. This was a fun episode to make, depending on what you think the word fun means. Okay, so I went on 6 SEO job interviews. And by the way, this was like way in the past. I went on 6 SEO job interviews. And in this episode, I talked about the conversations. I talked about the experience. I talked about the process. I told what the interviews were like. I listed some of the questions that I was asked. And then at the end of the episode, I read from a list of questions that I had to answer like as part of the application process. So anyway, the general theme from this episode is that most of the agencies and companies with whom I interviewed really were clueless as far as how SEO went. And I got asked a lot of questions like, well, about content basically. And you know what? If you're thinking about taking an SEO position, you should listen to this episode to learn what it might be like. Okay, next episode 74. Everyone is lying to you about duplicate content and even more SEO job interview questions. So at the end of this episode, I found some more questions that I was asked in the job interviews, and I mentioned them in the episode. The beginning of this episode talks about how people lie to you about duplicate content by telling you that it is a concern and it is not a concern. And in this episode, I even give examples of websites that are ranking with the same content, thus proving duplicate content does not exist. But there are 2 exceptions to that rule, and I'll just tell you what they are now. First exception, if you have duplicate content on your own website, like obviously you should probably try to keep from having duplicate content on your own website, okay? And the second example is if you have the same content on different websites that you own and they're both on the same server, okay? That is a problem too. But other than that, there's no such thing as duplicate content. I mean, well, there is. Like duplicate content just means matching content, right? But it's not a problem. There's no such thing as a penalty from duplicate content. And I give examples in this episode of well-known websites that have identical articles that both rank. So there's no penalty. Okay, next episode 75, a glimpse inside the shady world of internet marketing and affiliate programs. I'm not really going to offer a lot of detail. You'll have to go listen to this episode if you want. It's a pretty good episode. But if you've ever asked yourself why the affiliate marketing industry seems so untrustworthy and dishonest, you're asking the right questions. Okay, anyway, next episode 76, ranking but no backlinks? Where's the proof? Look, people, especially trolls of this podcast, love to say, oh, I can rank without backlinks. Oh, you don't need backlinks to rank. You just need good content. Bro, a long time ago, I posed a public challenge to the world to show me a website that ranks in English on google.com with no backlinks in a medium to competitive industry, okay? And obviously we're not talking local SEO here. And nobody's done it. People say that they have. Oh, I do it. Oh, I rank without. No, you don't. Literally, nobody can do it because it doesn't exist. There are no websites that rank without backlinks unless they have extremely low competition. Extremely low, okay? But people always make these claims. So I'm not sure what the problem is, but you need to back up your statements. If you say you can rank a website without backlinks, you have to show examples of websites that rank without backlinks, okay? Now, nobody's going to do it, but because it's not possible. But still, before you buy something from anyone selling you something saying that they can rank a website with no backlinks, usually they're content salespeople, by the way, or our content is so good, you still need backlinks. You're wrong. Stop scamming people and show proof. So anyway, that's that episode. I would encourage you to listen to it before buying content from anybody claiming that their content is so wonderful that it doesn't even need backlinks, because that's not how SEO works. That's like saying my paint job is so awesome it makes your car faster and you don't need a better engine, you just need this cool paint job. That's not how automotive performance works, okay? And that's not how SEO works. Anyway, next episode 77. What are tier 2 and tier 3 backlinks? Are they helpful? You've probably heard these phrases before. Tier 2, tier 3, there's more, tier 4, tier 5, whatever. You've probably heard this before if you've been researching SEO sellers and vendors, because people often like to say, oh, we give you backlinks and then we give you extra tiers of backlinks. Look, in this episode, I explained that the concept is fine, but it's usually not done in the correct way. And any correctly made PBN already has tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like as many as you want to go, probably. So you do not need additional tiers of spammy backlinks from forum profiles and blog comments and all the nonsense that people do. So, because it's not going to do anything for you, it's probably just going to look spammy. So probably don't do that. I think that's a good summary. You should listen to that episode if you want to know more. Okay, next episode. Episode 78. There is no such thing as cheap SEO. Guys, there's a reason that you can pay $10 for 1,000 backlinks, okay? There's a reason that they're $10, okay? I'm not sure what else to say. Honestly. All backlinks are not the same. Bad backlinks are worse than no backlinks, and there's a reason those backlinks are $10, okay? So here's my point. I'm not saying that you need to spend tons and tons of money to do SEO, but I'm saying for any amount of SEO that you need to do, okay? Any amount of SEO that you need to do not do the cheap stuff, okay? Do not buy the cheap stuff. It's like if you, for whatever reason, think that you need 1,000 backlinks, and I'm just making this up, okay? Is it possible to estimate a number of backlinks that you might need? Yes, it is possible, but it's not specific, and it's more of a range than an estimate, and you could still probably, nudge the numbers by 30% on either side of the estimate, okay? So it's really not, I don't even want to describe this, because somebody is going to say, Grumpy SEO guy says you can estimate the exact specific number of backlinks. No, you can't, okay? You can't. But anyways, look, let's say for some reason you have come to the conclusion that you need 1,000 backlinks for whatever reason, okay? Do not go buy 1,000 cheap backlinks and say, well, I got my 1,000 backlinks, because they're not going to help you, okay? Any SEO that you do has to be high quality. But anyway, look, there's a lot of cheap SEO out there. And the other thing that I mentioned in this episode is, and this is equally as important, just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good. If it's cheap, it's almost assuredly horrible. But if it's expensive, it doesn't mean it's good, okay? I hope that makes sense. But if you want to learn more about why there's no such thing as cheap SEO, maybe go find this episode. Okay, next episode, episode 79, 3 mistakes to avoid. 1 mistake is about website management. 2 mistakes are about dealing with clients. That's what it's about. I don't really need to go into detail here because now you know what they're about. It's more from the perspective of running an SEO agency rather than like necessarily doing SEO. But anyway, if you want to learn about 3 mistakes to avoid, listen to this episode. Okay. I hope that this was helpful. As you know, every 20 episodes, we do a review of the previous 19 episodes. But, okay, it's the end of the episode. See ya. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy this podcast, please leave a review. It would really help the show out. I hope this episode was helpful. If you have any questions or want to suggest a subject for a future episode, you can contact me on Reddit. My username is Grumpy SEO Guy. You can visit the Grumpy SEO Guy subreddit, or you can email me at hello@grumpyseoguy.com. If you email me, please either whitelist my email address or check your junk folders, because I've been told that my replies are going into the junk folder, and it's probably because we're talking about things like SEO and backlinks, and I think those words will classify an email as spam. And if you want to support the podcast, because it's the best source of SEO information on the planet and it's free, you can do so at patreon.com/grumpyseoguy. And I will talk to you later. You're listening to Grumpy SEO Guy, the SEO podcast that doesn't waste your time with nonsense that doesn't work. Join us next Wednesday when we talk about how to tell if something is useful for SEO.